For this episode of the Tavern Brawler Wizard series, I'll be taking on the Shadow-Cursed Shambling Mound. I start by pre-buffing myself with momentum, like you saw me do a couple of videos ago. That ends up not mattering with how the fight goes. I had this idea of carrying the Needle Blights up the ladder with me with improvised weapon, but as you'll see in the fight, that's not something I end up needing to do. I'm planning to fight from elevation here, so I take a couple of precautions related to fall damage. Put on the Boots of Striding, so that as long as I'm concentrating, I can't be moved by the Shambling Mound's Vine attack. He has that pull attack. We saw in the last video how dangerous it can be when you get pulled unexpectedly. And then I've just cast Featherfall on myself, so that if I do fall, I don't take any fall damage. Wearing the Ring of Free Action here so I can get immunity to the constricted condition that the Vine Blights can hit you with. Had a bit of a sloppy opener here. I was meaning to pre-buff myself with Arcane Acuity so that I could land the Phantasmal Killer on the Shambling Mound, and then while it's kind of locked in place, slowly taking damage, I can focus on the ads. But 36% chance to hit is not high enough for me, so I decide to wait until my acuity's higher in the fight before landing it, which was a bit of a misplay. Since I'm wearing the Gloves of Battlemage's Power, I throw an Alchemist Fire to start getting some acuity. The gloves will give you +2 acuity from throwing a destructible item, and then also +2 from each tick of burn damage. So that's a nice way to build it up over time. The Needle Blights are kind enough to join me up on the ledge, so I don't have to carry them up there, which is why the momentum doesn't end up mattering. Which is useful because I'm a throw character, but dangerous because if they were to explode, it might kill. Since I'm not concentrating on anything, I'm not actually immune to the Adhesive Whip here. I probably should have just cast Guidance or something, but I was imagining I'd be concentrating on Phantasmal Killer by this point. I only have 2 acuity here, so my chances to land Phantasmal Killer are still quite low, so I decide to charge it up a little bit more. But that's where the sort of main synergy of this character concept comes into play. If you throw a creature, you will get +2 acuity from the damage they take from being thrown, so I can build it up that way. I'm trying to throw it at the one I already damaged here to get a little explosion chain reaction, but the targeting interface is not cooperating with me. So with those 2 throw attacks, I'm up to +6 acuity and now have an 81% chance to land the spell. And I decide I like those odds. Other thing to remember here is that Phantasmal Killer, the damage from this spell, it also triggers the gloves. So it's kind of self-sustaining, where the damage will build acuity on its own, and that acuity will help the spell stay in place. So very good combo. Now that I'm concentrating on Phantasmal Killer, I am immune to the Adhesive Whip effect from the Shambling Mound, and it can't move. So with that, there's nothing it can do. It just passes its turn. These Needle Blights are just the absolute dream enemy for a throw character because not only are they very easy to throw, they can explode and deal a bunch of damage when they die from being thrown. So it's like an enemy that just walks up to you and hands you a grenade. Very useful. And notice this whole time that I'm just kind of throwing the blights around, the Shambling Mound is just sitting there doing nothing, not moving, slowly dying to the psychic damage. I think Phantasmal Killer, really great spell, kind of slept on. I was sleeping on it myself until I was sort of introduced to its power by a couple of other YouTubers, Remus71 and Friendly Lich. They both do solo honor runs like this and are big fans of Phantasmal Killer. I think what makes it so good is, it's kind of overshadowed by Hold Monster, but it's one spell level lower, so you get it earlier. It's cheaper to use. And importantly, it gets around the legendary resistance of a lot of late game bosses. So a lot of late game bosses have legendary resistance that only triggers from incapacitating conditions, like Hold Monster, for example. But Phantasmal Killer is not in that category, so it gets around that. And coupled with the fact that it deals psychic damage, which can be doubled by the Resonance Stone, and it triggers the Gloves of Battlemage's power, so it builds acuity for you, you can just really turn it into a shutdown tool for Act 3 bosses. So you'll definitely be seeing me use this spell a lot more later in the run. You might think that throwing enemies in every single fight gets old eventually, but now I'm in Act 3. You're kind of watching me from a delay, and I can say that is not true. It does not get old. It's always fun. It's always hilarious, and it's always strong. I think at the end of the run, I'll probably make a compilation video where I edit together every single time I throw an enemy off a ledge and it dies. It's just the most satisfying action in the game, in my opinion. I wanted to just pass turn to disrespect the Shambling Mound, but then I remembered it only lasts 10 turns, and I'm probably getting close to the end of that timer, so I'm like, okay, I gotta actually kill it. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the fight, thought it was interesting. As always, I appreciate if you like, comment, and subscribe. Have a good rest of your day, and I hope to catch you next time.